The holy goat. In the house. And he's going to start us off with a good dab here.
Yeah. Like pick your
Tell
poison.
us about what we're about to dab.
We have a holy sesh here. So, well, we've got 10 different strains on the menu right now. We launched. We're about to drop another one next week, which seems to be everybody's favorite flower right now. It's that banana cream cake that we've got, and the flowers, you know, people are loving that. It tested about 30% on the THC. The terps are, I think, a little over 2, and it's definitely some gas. Enjoying that. And then we've kind of been holding back on the rosin on that one, just getting the hype going. And yeah, we're excited to get that. Let's. I think we're gonna start off today with the GMO Punch. That's kind of my favorite right now, I think.
Okay, let's go for it.
Yeah, that's the one we tried the other day. I enjoy that one a lot.
So who's up first? That's the question.
Let's go, man.
Grab that whip right there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to upgrade to one of these and just carry it around.
Right?
This is cool.
I mean,
It's like a little torch gun.
I'm pretty sure they made it for us.
Pretty sure they made it for us. That checks out. I feel like a Ghostbuster, like a Dab Buster.
Ready to rock here. GMO Punch.
There you go.
Don't be shy. You're smoking with the goat now.
You're smoking with the goat now.
I know not everybody loves these
I
little
smell
baby
it.
rigs because they feel like it's the flavor, but I don't know. I feel like it does a good job on the flavor. The big
Packs up,
boss.
right?
Yeah, you kind of get the total package here. I'll set you up with some punch too. As soon as you recover, we'll get a little feedback from you there.
Yeah. Oh, I totally recovered.
You need to want it. It's like a kick to the throat. In the best way.
Yes, it is.
I
had somebody.
Rosin, man. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
You're choking.
I actually, I've been growing for over 20 years.
Right.
And some of my really closest friends have been, oh, there you go. Success. Some of my closest friends have been, high level in the rosin game from the onset of it. It's always been a real craft, special part of this whole cannabis biz. And the cool thing about it is the guys that, were the best, early on were the people that knew the best growers, because with rosin, we all know it's fire in, fire out. It's great that you can make these, wonderful concentrates with BHO and stuff. And, I have nothing against BHO. Actually, some BHO stuff is straight fire. Love live resin too. But the rosin's a special thing in its own, being solventless. And it's very, very dependent on the material you start with. So, a lot of my friends were more of the artist in that form. I was more of the grower artist in that regard. And so I've been exposed to it for years, always, been fascinated by it, and, had high regard for my friends that were, focused on the craft itself, and producing the best of the best stuff. I mean, these dudes, I remember guys, started doing it, in their house and whatnot, and then, they're building rooms in the back of their yard, and then pretty much they have like insulated buildings and freezers, and they're working in these rooms and ski jackets and stuff. And I was kind of thought it was amusing at first, but you see the level that they're producing, and there's a difference between what they're doing, what everybody else was doing back then. And now that's basically, standards for producing this stuff. We need rooms like 40 degrees to work in and stuff like that. So I think that, it's been exciting being a part of it, and I wouldn't even for a second try to claim it as the guy who's making the rosin, but for us, we have sweet sap extracts as our processing lab, and my boy Devin, he's been doing it for years, and he's a straight wizard with it, you know. And I think that's a huge aspect of why our stuff is so good, because we've got, you know, a guy in there that is passionate about this, loves it. I mean, it's literally, you know, he lives to make the best rosin that he, you know, on the planet. So
all the best do.
Right? I mean, it's true, you know. And there's some industries and some crafts out there that, you know, to be on that level, you really have to just go all in, and just that's got to be your life. And, you know, I'm fortunate to have a partner that's in it, and he's killing it. So
yeah, I went straight for that, just because I went straight for the rosin, just because we went to the hash camp recently, and I was able to try that brandy wine, second place.
Yep.
It's my personal favorite out of the seven. Out of the seven that was in there.
Well, thank you.
You tried it. You tried them. Yeah.
We'll have to fire that one up here in a minute.
Was it good to go?
This is you ready to rock?
Yeah, man.
All right. The heavy hitter is coming at you. Reserve.
Ooh. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I like that. That's smooth, and it's a big rip.
Yeah,
like,
man. That is smooth. I want one of those.
Where'd you get that?
So, true story. I way back in like 2007, when I owned some dispensaries back in Prop 215 days in California. I got tired of the dispensaries, because between the police like hanging with us one day and then calling me the next day and saying they're coming to raid me, and then apologizing about it the following day, telling me I can reopen, and then, you know, occasionally some other idiot robbing us. You know, we'd have ups and downs with these dispensaries, because we were like the first ones, you know. So it was really a game of cat and mouse for a while, and
not knowing the legalities and everything of it.
Well, it was weird, because like they would let us have the shop, but then they'd straight up, it was, you know, like tax you every now and then and be like, look, we're gonna come raid you. And I mean, you'd get to the point where you were you knew like the officers and stuff by name, and they'd be like, hey, dude, give you a heads up, just like, hey, put away the expensive stuff, you know, we got to put on a show. So
we're coming through regardless.
I mean, it's like it sucks, you know, but we had to do that, and I got tired of it for a while. I decided, and I had these people coming into my store that were like trying to sell these pens with like this like black tar in them, back in like 2010. And so I was like, man, that's gross. I'd kick them out of my store. I'd be like, because I owned stores, because I wanted to grow, have a store, and like create this organic, like holistic situation. Not like a lot of these other stores that were just blowing out cheap weed, trying to make money, right?
Zaza packs and fancy
so,
bags.
So anyways, long story short, I decided I was tired of the stores, and that like one guy walked in one day and he had this stuff that was like, it looked like blood in the cart, and this dude was like kind of a goth dude, and he's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the newest thing in all the clubs, you know, we're calling it like, I don't even remember, he had like vampire blood, I don't know, he had some crazy like whole marketing thing behind it, right? I thought he was out of his fucking mind, but at the same time, like something went off in my head, and I was like, this guy's onto something, right? And then he walked out of my store, and all I could think of was that movie Minority Report that I saw like recently back then, and I was like, dude, like maybe this is the future, this fucking vape thing, you know? Yep. And so I started working on it with a friend of mine, and he was more of a business guy, and then we started a company called Cure, and then it turned into a company called Curevana, right? And that was pretty much like one of the first legal vape brands that was doing big things out in Cali. Right, we killed it in that. After I kind of got out of that company, and it was great. Took a break from the industry for a little bit, and went and had some fun. Then when I came back, a friend of mine who's a legend in the industry, his name's Mario Guzman. Everybody knows him as Mr. Sherbinsky. He knew me for doing a lot of things with the vapes, and so he'd been working on some stuff already, and he was ready to relaunch this Sherbinsky's brand, and we teamed up, and I helped him to kind of like really dial in this vape thing for him, and then help him launch the brand, and with the sales and all that. And
huge.
It was a lot of fun. Honored to be a part of that whole project. And like I said, he's to this day still a good friend, and somebody that I look up to a lot in the space. So
that's some history right there too.
Right. But the funny thing is, when I was doing that vape brand Kirvana, we wanted to do events, and back then, like, we knew people that owned clubs and all that, and we the VIP room. And before this was really like, illegal or something. So we set it up so we could do some events and stuff. And this was the thing that we bought to do events. So this rig's been around for 15 years or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And it,
be really careful.
Really? Well, no, I mean, just like to bring it out on special occasions. And
it's a heavy hitter for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
It's definitely one to hang on to and bring around to special events. What about this one here?
So yeah, that's a jar that I've actually had since I was like 16, sort of, somewhat. This was the top of my 4-foot bong in high school. Well, one of them. That was kind of legendary. I used to roll around with, and everybody knew it by name. One day it got broke, and one of my buddies scooped up the top of it, and then had a friend of ours who was working with Jerome Baker at the time kind of like piece it back together and make a jar out of it. So, I'm not going to say how old I am right now, but this jar's, over 25 years old.
Come on now.
It's pretty awesome. And yeah, man, I'm just blessed to have been a part of this industry for such a long time. I'm a cancer survivor. When I was sick, this plant did a lot for me. I used to, I was growing it and I was juicing it raw, and I definitely credit that a big part to getting me through my illness and stuff. And
and you still practice that stuff
today. Yeah, I mean, I'm holistic to the T. I still I eat the plant, I juice it, it's a big part of my life. It always has been. And it's nice too, like the way that my growing style is so clean, and that I don't have a problem literally like popping leaves off my plant and eating them when I'm in the room. And that kind of stuff. People think it's funny, but like it's just like that's me. So
there are many times where Brooke and I will go into a place and be like, oh man, I just want to eat this. I probably should for now.
Right? It's crazy. Some of these plants, they've got and I found this out when I was juicing them, but some of them have these really incredible terpene profiles that you can actually like palate like when it's in acid form. So when you're juicing it raw, like for instance, back then, a couple of my favorite ones were like Blackberry Kush and like an LA Con. And I noticed that like these heavy indica Kushes seem to have more of like a palatable flavor for, for like ingesting. Yeah, but like when I would get to stuff like that was diesel-y or like gassy or even a lot of like this like sweet stuff, it would just end up being this terpene that would be so like acidic and like
give you heartburn,
corrosive almost. That like you'd have to mix it with like juice or something like that, and even then it was like kind of hard to stomach it sometimes. So I got to a point where I was actually growing like strain specifics just to juice stuff. Tried to kind of launch a little a business like that, but it's just with any kind of fresh press or cold press juice, it's only good for a few days. So I think until it gets to the point where I've got a dispensary that's got a list of patients that are like really like ready to go and be on like
an event,
like kind of like a monthly something like that, which would be cool. I'd love to be a part of something like that someday, but the logistics of it would take, more than just
Right.
a grow and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I think doing that to, find your own like homeostasis, like doing all those different things to find, what works for you and what doesn't, that's big for me. I'll smoke certain flower, and then I'll kind of stray from that, and then it just kind of does my body a little weird, and I'm like, okay, I need to go back to kind of what I know, back over here, and that's super cool that, to do that.
Do you find that like certain flowers are better for certain things for you, or do you think like just certain flowers fit you better, period, and you're able to kind of go different ways with that flower, like just based on your, where you're at in your, your mindset and stuff?
It really just depends. I've been consuming cannabis for most of my life, and I can wake up and smoke an indica and still, it just gets me like focused and where I need to be. And when I smoke a sativa, right, or what people call sativa, right, it's I get really focused, and it really dials me in. So I can pick and choose kind of between certain ones, but yeah, I'm gonna always lean towards something that's a little bit heavier. And but I really, I like the clementine profiles, the orange peel and the citrus and stuff like that too as well. So it really just depends on what my body, I'll get some flower and say, I have a quarter of this, a quarter of that, a little bit of this. I'll smoke a couple joints of one, and then, I'm like, it's not what I'm looking for. Let me go to this one, and so I smoke for specific, reasons to be kind of dialed in, I guess, yeah.
I try to, but and it depends on the time of the day, but for the most part, I'll find a flower that I like, and I'll just stick with it for a while. Oh, yeah. Until I get sick of it. But I know that what I like, and what I like is usually what is put in front of me. Well, there's very little that I...
Well, for me, it's like... to show the circle you're hanging out with, right?
Yeah.
You're in the right circle,
right,
usually.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly.
It's not in front of you, and this is good anyway. Right?
But...
It's,
I get that technical, too.
Well, and to me, it's like a wine tasting, right? Like I'm gonna look at it like how people would look at like IPAs or wine or whiskeys, whatever it is. I know if I'm looking for a certain experience, I know that there's a couple growers that I can go and get that flower, and every time I will achieve that experience that I'm looking for because they're just dialed in, and so I'm gonna lean towards those, and then always be open to finding others, because I mean I'm not just gonna put blinders on and be like, this is the only thing that I like. I'm gonna try and find more stuff that I like, but I'm also gonna go back to some of those things that I know that really works for me.
Yeah. Once you find stuff that's bad, it's definitely like it's good to kind of like find that out. I think a lot of people medicate for a long time and just arbitrarily like whatever's there, So
right.
It's some of us are blessed enough to have access and knowledge enough to know like and kind of like start to figure out things that actually do work for
right.
better than others. And I mean, I smoke so much sometimes I think that this isn't really working too much, and I'll just switch it up to something else. And like some people tell me, I don't get high. Well, check it out, dude. Like,
what are you smoking?
You are not.
What are you smoking?
You're not doing it right.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Right.
You're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Because
got him.
I don't care how much you smoke. If you've got the right stuff and you're doing it right, it's gonna hit. And I mean the plant is such a powerful thing.
Yeah.
That you're not more powerful than than the plant.
No, it will get you. You
gotta respect it.
Yeah, you gotta respect it.
People talking about buckets being filled and all that.
Well, and it's like, you get some stuff. It's like 1,000 milligrams of, it's probably something that's not super. I could not. No. And people just willy nilly, raw, and I'm just like, oh no, you didn't just eat 500 milligrams of that. Are you serious?
And the thing with that too is it all so dependent on how the shit has been decarboxylated and
right.
how it was prepared, and
if it's nanotech, if it's this,
and I am no chef, and I am no expert with the edibles by any means, but man, I wish they were more
that's why you gotta have
accurate and
a 1-to-1, something like that. A 1-to-1, a little bit of THC and CBD mixed into one.
Okay, so
it's like that's to me when I feel an edible.
Okay, which is bizarre, right? Because theoretically, if you it's supposed
to counterbalance. It's supposed to,
It should do the opposite. So
well, there's properties in CBD that it's gonna help your body with inflammation and different stuff like that. Right,
absolutely.
right.
But as far as feeling an effect, technically it should be the opposite. So that I mean, but who knows? It's all relative to the person and all that kind of stuff too. And subjective and all that good stuff.
True that. It's like if you don't have a blowtorch as a gun, are you really doing it? I like that thing. I'm going back to that.
Whenever we do get technical with it like that, we tend to forget that there is a human element there.
For sure.
There is everybody's different. So
this ice cream cake, dude. It's there's diamonds fucking forming in here, bro. What? There's a big old chunk of a diamond right there. Why'd you can poke it and just like a rock? Ugh.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
I wish we could get a close-up.
Man, I do too. I need help with my photography for this branding. I do not do it justice, man. We need to step it up on that for sure.
Yeah. It's like trying to take a photo of a mountain.
You can't do it. It's like you go to Colorado.
No matter what you do, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be tough to roll the donut in here. It's kind of warm because you got to usually get it kind of cold. I use my freezer a lot when I do this.
So, donuts.
Ooh, I like rolling donuts.
Yeah.
We had that one the other day, and
it was quite
good.
Nice.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like there's a process to it.
And it's worth the wait, actually.
Yeah. Well, and I'm very big on getting it right in the middle of the paper, so it's like a little proper
right
donut. But you can do it all. I mean, you could just crumble it all in the flour. Some people do that.
Right. I know.
Twist it up.
I'm talking about.
Do you? No.
I'm saying the way that you roll them. It's
myself specifically.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because it takes about 14 hours. So.
What?
No, I'm just.
No doubt, right?
No.
Respect the process.
No, I enjoy rolling. It's to me, it's one of those things. I was talking about this yesterday. My uncle at a very young age, was like, "Yo, Brookie, go roll some joints," and I would sit there and I would roll some up while he was doing whatever he was doing, and I would leave him right there and be like, "Hey, they're here, they're done," and that's just my family, consume cannabis openly, but I would say. Respectively, throughout, it wasn't
in your face,
right?
It was there,
right. But my uncle Frank was the one that took time to really let me know this. You see this, you see when everybody comes here and they're happy, this is medicine, and so at a young, I started to really grasp that concept, but I knew what it was at the same time,
right?
But yeah, he would. and just sit there and roll joints for him. And then I remember at a certain age, he finally was like, "Hey, you want to hit this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, come on."
It paid off.
That's kind of cool. You got people that can roll good joints. A lot of times have a good joint rolling story of how it all started.
Yeah.
You know? So.
What about you? You were talking earlier about kids, man. About your kid. Growing up here in Oklahoma.
Well,
now.
my kids have nothing to do with me rolling joints.
No, I don't mean that.
But yeah.
Whoa.
Segue. But yeah, I mean, you know, I did move here for the kids. You know, that's kind of why I'm here in Tulsa. Originally, we relocated from Cali because as much as I loved growing up there and incredible as it was, it just isn't really the place for me to be right now. Having a couple of young kids, you know, I'm trying to raise them a little different than.
It's pretty hectic out there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and it's, look, like, everybody's got their own opinions. I'm not saying anybody's right, wrong, or needs to feel a kind of way, but I'm like the kind of person like to do my own thing, and I just don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
And you know, basically, California's turned into a place where you gotta follow a lot of rules out there.
Yeah, man.
And you gotta put up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
and it's always changing, you know, like it's not the same.
Anyways, yeah, Cali's great for what it is. It's just not for me, and you know, I'm excited to be in Tulsa. My family loves it here. My kids love it here.
Yeah.
I love it here. You know, the weather's a bit extreme.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's literally the only thing I could say that's maybe even just slightly unpositive about.
It could be more adventurous that way.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's a fact. This place,
it's a
the
fact.
weather is extreme.
Yeah.
Here. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know?
So tell us what you're rolling up over there.
Oh, this is a banana cream cake donut with. Of course, I had to put ice cream cake inside of it.
Yeah,
so
of
course.
we could just get all caked up over here. Yeah, that's funny.
And then you do a little signature move to the joints.
do. You know, I launched.
Tell us about the history on that.
Yeah, I launched a brand in Cali. I've kind of always been known as rolling these, like, super, like, crazy joints. Most people, like, warn people before they hit my joint, you know. I actually was fortunate enough also to work with the Packwoods crew for a while. You know, helped work on expanding that company and got to get exposed to a lot of cool stuff with them.
Yeah.
And you know, we ended up making some cool stuff over there, and one of the brands I launched over there was called Heavy Melta, and we basically made the world's most powerful pre-roll was our mission.
It looks serious.
And I know everybody makes these donuts and stuff, and we're about to light this thing up too, and you know, we'll get right off this donut for sure. But I will say, man, the Heavy Melta joints that we made were like a whole different level, and like where they would take you to the damn moon. And we did use different BHO concentrates, sometimes rosin, but like it was mostly just different forms of BHO, like diamond, sauce, live resin, which again, like, if it's done right, I'm a huge fan of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I know a lot of rosin guys out there probably hate me for saying that. But,
no, I mean, I agree with that. I was just talking about that the other day.
I got love for the plant in every form, you know?
Craft is craft, you know, however you want to do it.
Unless it's fucking shit, yeah.
Or
unless you're disrespecting the plant, you're doing some fucking
blasting it with CRC
and
shit.
Yeah, fuck all that. But yeah, we would. So my protocol for these joints, without giving too much away, was there was a certain number of flower that had to be included in each pre-roll, and when I say number, I mean different strains. So there was like a certain number of strains and like a certain number of strains of concentrate. So like any one joint could have up to like 10 different components in it.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you understand the way the THC cannabinoid system works, basically all these different, you know, terpenes and, you know, components of different plants have different effects. So, I mean, it makes sense that, you know, you mix 10 of them together, you're going to get a a whole different type of an entourage effect.
Right.
You know, and generally we would tell people like, look, this one joint could get a half a dozen heavy smokers first time high. You know, and most people
like a high school high.
High school high, yeah. That's what we would, yeah. So, you know, we marketed it because, you know, most people make pre-rolls with distillate and keef, which is like, I mean, again, I launched one of the first distillate companies in the space,
right.
you know, 15, however many years ago it was, but like to this day, you'll never catch me with a distillate cart, you
right.
know. There might be some medicinal value there for the THC aspect of it, but I'm a big believer that the highest medicinal value in this plant is in the terpenes and the other cannabinoids in there besides the THC. So, you know, I definitely like to stress full spectrum on the live resins. I like full spectrum rosins. Some people are, you know, dead set on the golden bag stuff, but, you know, to each their own.
Right.
And for me, it's all about flavor and having that entourage effect from the
effect
the
that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it makes sense. The more the better for that. You know, as long as I'm still getting that flavor I'm looking for. So yeah, I digress. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Let's get digress.
Let me wrap this thing up and we'll fire it up.
Come on now.
Can't wait. So this one's gonna take us to the moon.
Oh yeah, we'll do our best.
You
And then maybe next time I'll bring a Melta, and then we'll bring one of these, and we'll do a side by side.
Yeah, we'll do a side by side.
Might as well. Some A/B testing needs to be done.
That's right.
For sure.
Heavy R&D.
We do volunteer work for that. So all of this flour here that you brought in,
Yes, sir.
we're going to talk a little bit about some more of these.
Let's do it.
Had the ice cream cake. What was the banana?
Yeah, banana. No.
Yeah. Banana cake.
Banana cake. Yeah.
Banana cream cake.
Banana cream cake. There we go.
Well, so banana cake and banana cream cake. It is one of the. There's basically it's a Seed Junkie and oh man, who was it? I'm having a brain fart. Sorry guys.
Sorry, man.
But it was Seed Junkie with someone else there. I forget. I want to say House or something. I'm about ready to fire this joint up. Yeah, who's ready for another dab?
Yeah, I am for sure.
Where do you want to jump in? You want to try that one we have? It's unreleased.
Yes.
We're calling it the Elmer Fudd.
Oh, well, fud me up.
Check the nose out on this one here.
Come on. Oh, looks pretty. Oh yeah.
That wah wah, as Devin would say. The wet ass hash.
Oh. Check that out.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Definitely one of my favorites.
Yes.
It's so tough, man. I mean, it's kind of. I don't know if it's Devin's fault for doing such a good job on the wash or mine for growing it, but it's tough to pick a favorite these days.
Yeah, I mean, that's a rotation full of heat right there. And then it's like, whenever we first connected, it was you pulled them out, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, we've got like at least another 4, or maybe we're gonna drop before the end of the year. So we're just gonna keep the heat coming, and I know everybody likes to see new stuff, so we'll make sure we keep bringing new shit.
Those,
but
yeah.
you know, I mean, be real selective about what we're bringing too. And it's like you like to tell people it's coming too, but on the flip side, I noticed in the past when I used to do that stuff, sometimes I'd open my mouth,
right,
and then you know people are dropping the same shit as me, like right afterwards, or you know sometimes they beat you to the punch somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're pulling a little switcheroo or something, but it happens. Let's see.
That rig is really
Let you cool off so you can really taste this one a little bit. Yeah, it should go now. crazy,
That's
right?
wow.
It has like a fucking like melons or something afterwards. I don't know, like a honey. It tastes like honeydew or something.
It's like,
yeah. What do you think it tastes like?
He's about to get high school high.
it tastes like the cucumber lime Gatorade.
Yeah, like straight, like
You know,
like a melony,
Yes.
like refreshing melony, like. Yeah, no, this is like the one right now I like to just kind of have as like my last.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I'll let you check
Yeah.
the Berlotti next time because the Berlotti has a similar vibe like that, but just a little different too. I don't like this, Jay. I think I need a dab. I haven't even got one yet.
Right. That thing is properly named.
Right?
Oh. Yeah, it's got the it tastes like that cucumber lime Gatorade. Like, you know, I love Oklahoma, and I love the culture and the community. But there's a lot more than just Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of people who have done some amazing things that have pioneered other people to do things out here, right?
Yeah, man,
like,
I mean, we were
Not
pushing. Just like I was saying, like with the whole Prop 215 thing back when
Yeah.
we had the stores. But I mean, it was someone had to do that shit.
somebody,
Yeah.
let's start somewhere.
Someone had to run through that fucking
Yeah.
circus.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Well, and it's like there's a lot of knowledge, right? That's everywhere when it comes to this plant,
yeah.
and just the history behind it. You know, that's what speaks. You know, we're creating history right now. People in Oklahoma doing their thing, but there's been a lot of history before then too. You know, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super interesting meeting and really actually being involved in that history, or meeting the people that were involved.
That thing rips, man. Like, I was surprised I didn't like joke, and you know,
I'm surprised too because I did twice.
It's just like so delicious.
it's smooth. It's
good.
what it's a very like it hits way better than a hookah does.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you know, I wish sometimes a hookah would hit like that.
Yeah.
He'd be sauced up.
So, dude, when we had this thing originally, like I said, we got it. I got it when I bought it when we had this Kirvana thing going, and I used to dab people on this thing, and they would fucking fall over, bro. Like at least a couple people a night,
Yeah,
just
for
straight
sure.
up. Oh yeah,
There he goes.
I've done this before. I've done this before. We got this because the first time we did an event, somebody dropped our rig
Oh yeah.
because they took a hit and they just dropped it and fell. And
They'd
then-
never experienced it.
So then I got this one so you could set it down and somebody would stand there and you'd like hand them the whip and they'd take the whip from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's the thing's a beast.
It's been around too. Shit, that's that's an investment right there. That is a solid investment.
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of investments, tell us a little bit more about your products and like where people can find them.
Well, while I definitely could do a better job with our social media, we're trying to improve on it. We try to drop, the stores that are picking us up. We just launched really like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. Wanted to kind of incubate this thing for a little while to make sure when we came out the gate we were really swinging for the fences. I mean, like I said, we have 10 different strains of rosin. We've got 4 flowers. We're cutting right now, so we'll have a few more to add to that. And of our rosins, like any one of them are special. So I think that's important when you're coming out as a brand right now. Stores don't need new brands. They're established and they're selling regardless of whether you're there on the shelf. People are walking in with money, and granted, if you're like a shopper how I was when I was doing my my research out here, you know, I would walk out of stores with not buying stuff more than I would buy stuff, just because I'm so picky, and I was looking for nothing but the best rosin and the best flower. And sometimes I'd walk into a store and I'd be like, wow, fucking gas here. You guys are fucking killing it.
Yeah, like
and I'd spend $500 or $600, you know? But more often than not, I'd walk in and I'd be, show me your best stuff. And I'd be like, you know, where's the good stuff? You know, this is light depth, or, you know, this is some phospholipid pot, you know, that, you know, you're buying for $800 a pound. Like, where's the good weed, you know? And some places just don't care enough to do that. They're just there to make a profit, and they're a business.
Retail space.
You know, maybe the owner doesn't even smoke, isn't connected, isn't passionate about the industry or the plant, and you can't hate on that person for that. You know, I mean, so it's just a business to that person. But at the same time, I mean, you know, I'm trying to be real selective of the stores that we work with, because I want to be in those stores where the bud tenders know what they're talking about. The owner is passionate about putting good quality stuff on the stores or on the shelves, and you know, they're going to be excited to recommend this brand to people, because they know they're going to have this experience. They're going to have to come back and want to do it again, you know, and share it with everybody else. So, you know, it's been a little bit of a struggle, like, coming out the gate this way, because, you know, you walk into stores and they're like, wow, you know, this is on par with the best stuff we have. Yeah, and I pay $40 a gram for that stuff, but I can't pay $40 a gram for you, you know? And it's like, well, why not? You just said I'm just as good, you know? And, you know,
because we're already committed to this guy, and that's where I'm,
so I'm actually kind of happy to be able to try to come into the market with a competitive price, trying to get this to the patients at a cheaper price, trying to work with the owners and the buyers and the, you know, the stores to, you know, like, look, I don't have like a double up or a triple up margin. Like, that's not the game anymore, you know. Like, you can do that on some products, but like, if you're really gonna have like this luxury product in your store, I mean, you're going to have a higher ticket sale, but you might not make a double margin on everything. I mean, and you know, if people can get past that and they want to fuck with it, and they want to, you know, get down with something special, it usually turns into a great relationship, you know?
Right.
And if they're not into it, at least you find out right there, you know, because that probably would have been the store that would have asked you to put your stuff in there on consignment. You would have sat there because you know what?
The bud tender didn't
somebody else gave them a deal, and they actually make $10 more a gram every time they sell that one. So that's the one they're selling. You know, and it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to get good quality stuff to patients that, you know, at the right price. So, you know, we're doing what we can, and it's got to be strategic with the right people, you know. And it's awesome that you guys are, you know, provide a platform for people like me to talk about it, because if people know, you know, hey, this stuff is different. I heard this guy talk about it, you know. He's passionate. He's doing it. It's made with love, you know. I mean, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, made with love. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, when you've been
at it, you know, for as long as you have, and some of the stuff that you've been able, you know, fortunate enough to do and be a part of, you know, like that comes with I think a certain tier of experience, and typically that experience is quality, you know, and you have the mindset of, you know, I'm doing this to deliver quality medicine to the patients, and that's what it's about, you know. That's the full, because everything else comes. Everything else comes.
There's other people out there with the same mentality.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
And I'll find them.
Oh, and
then
I would love to introduce you to some too at the same time, because you know, there's definitely some really great people who you know, the ethos is there. You know?
It is
100%. It's and that's I'm grateful for the Oklahoma community, because there is, you know, a collective of those people, you know, who really care like that, and they're, you know, dialed in, and they're, you know.
And I think a lot of people
itself,
get intimidated by that too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That are from out of state, and they think that it's more of a territorial thing, and it has been treated that way, sort of. But really, whenever you come into any geo area or whatever region, whatever you want to call it, and you bring what you bring, and with the mentality that you bring and all that, and it fits with everyone else's mentality, that's whenever you fit in. I mean, that's what everybody's talking about. So I don't know where I was going with that.
I think it's important to stay humble, and like especially when you're in a new place, because other people are going to feel like it's like they were there first. It's kind of that whole mentality,
Yeah.
But if you come in with an open attitude, hey, I'm here to add value to what you guys are already doing.
Exactly.
Not I'm here to do something that you don't know.
Right.
It's fuck. That's why when I moved here, I mean, one of the first thing I did was try to figure out who's making the best rosin in the state.
Who's growing the best flower?
Yeah, who's growing the best weed and all that kind of stuff, And I mean, I'm thrilled to have my partner. He's been here forever since the onset of this thing, and anybody that smoked his rosin since day one has said it's fire.
Yeah.
So, I got a great situation here.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. So, it's been fun, dude, and it's only gonna get more fun. I feel like it's just starting to get fun.
Right. I agree with that. I think it's just starting to get fun. People are like, oh yeah, it's this, it's that, and I'm like, oh, it's just getting, to where it's about to be,
about to pop.
It's about to be a lot of fun for a lot of people.
We are about to launch our live resin brand, this Cola. Some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something we're excited about. I know, the rosin price point's a little high for some people. It's more of a special occasion thing sometimes, but the live resin's definitely more affordable, and in my opinion, far better experience in a pen form. I know people will argue that they got rosin pens that are great, but we've been R&D in rosin pens for over a year now, and we're so happy with the way our rosin comes out that when we put it in a pen and that experience and the flavor and everything doesn't transfer over, I feel like it does a bit of a disservice to the rosin.
Yeah.
So rather than keep melting down grams of perfectly fire rosin into carts that end up being just mediocre experience, we're still R&Ding that. We're still pushing. We're trying to mess around with different apertures, different resistance levels and all that stuff. So we can maybe try to get it figured out. But at this point, I feel like the live resin is just the jam. And on the go, live resin carts are the way to go. So we've got to.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, and the way the live resin we have is all single source. It's fire. It's made the same way as our other flower. We're actually using some of our same genetics and our same grow that we do for this into our live resin. Mm-hmm. So
I enjoy if I don't really smoke carts that often, so typically when I get one like a rosin cart, right, anything over a half a gram, right, that little coil kind of starts to taste a little bit burnt.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna smoke some rosin, I'm gonna smoke some rosin.
I mean,
right.
It's kind of a pain in the ass smoking rosin, right? The whole deal. It is. I mean?
It's the experience of it. It works.
It's part of the experience too, right? So, I don't know. I mean, I think that for someone that's on the go, traveling, that kind of shit, it's definitely the live resin is the way to go. We've got a half gram cart right now, and we did that just to kind of hit that price point for patients that are looking to go into a store. They've only got $20, mm-hmm. and they want to get out the door with something that's fire, that's not just going to be a joint they can roll up. Yeah. This is going to last them a few days, and it's going to be something that's, you know, good quality and something that, you know, they can, you know, enjoy. I mean, that's where I'm at. Oh, sorry, you can light it back up.
Man. It's fine.
And yeah, so we made that at that half gram price so that they could get that thing out the door to the patients for $20. And then we're about to drop our 2 gram cart, which is going to be in like our own little custom device. And,
Okay.
you know, I think people are going to really like that.
Yeah.
You saw the 1 grams that we had, and so it's going to be kind of something like that. But
Okay.
we're going to bounce it to up to 2 grams so we can give people even a higher value, you know, for their dollar, for, you know, the oil. Because I think, you know, we've been messing with these live resins long enough to know that, you know, that the integrity of the product will be fine for that long, and the device works and all that. So I think that the 2 gram is definitely
the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean, you know, once you have something you like, you don't need to. You're not really trying to go refill, you know, every few days if
Right.
you're really on that thing. But in the same token, it's nice to have that one that you don't mind just like taking out for the night and tossing, or if you fucking get rid of it, or you gotta, you know, I don't know. The half gram's got its place too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good. We're excited about that. But yeah, man. Thanks for having me on here, guys. I
Yeah,
really
man.
do appreciate
For
it.
sure.
Yeah, man.
It's an honor,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I mean, it's really cool to meet, like we were talking about earlier, the history behind it, and you're a part of that, and so it's really cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Definitely have to do this again.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Cheers.
Hell yeah.